Hello everybody, Insane Galvatron here. Sorry for the low quality on the video. Using my laptop because I got stuck on to have to rearrange some things. Don't have a way to set up my cell phone, which surprisingly has a better camera than a laptop does. That's what I would normally use, but don't have access to that right now. I'm also got a little bit of a cold, so if you forgive the voice, a little scratchy. What I've got here today is I just received my Compendium Kickstarter set from Image Comics, the Skybound, the Marvel G1 reprint. Now, these are the leather bound hardcovers. Now, it turns out as they're fulfilling these, they are doing it with the smaller orders first. Most people who ordered like the Ironhide or the Bumblebee. Somebody said they ordered Starscream and got it, which I think Starscream was just the Till-All One. Without looking at the page again, I don't remember. That's the first report I'd heard somebody getting the Till-All One sets. Usually just the smaller ones. So this is the Ironhide package. I also ordered a Unicron package, but it hasn't arrived yet. Hasn't even shipped yet. And so to get an unboxing out there, I figured I would start with what I do have. And if you're wondering why I would get a Unicron set and an Ironhide set, the Ironhide set, for those of you who don't know, is just the US Compendiums 1 and 2. Of course, all the stretch goals and digital downloads. Uh, where the Unicron set, you get everything. Well, because these are kind of collector's items. Let's face it, we're Transformer collectors. That's what we do. We buy this stuff, we put it on a shelf, we never touch it. So I've got the autographed Unicron of everything to put on the shelf to look pretty. And then I wanted a set to read without having to worry about damaging it. Um, to where, I can read it on the toilet or, at the dining room table. If I've, just come in from outside, I'll wash my hands, but if I got a little something on there that, the pages get greasy or if I accidentally, you know, ruffle an edge of a page or something, I'm not going to sweat it because it's, my reader set. It's kind of like having a junker of something, that like you got your pristine condition one that you put on a shelf you never touch. But then you want a junker one just to mess around with, and you're not worried about the joints get loose or worn out if you have to break a tab because it's your junker just to play with. So I kind of want to do the same thing with the books. I wanted one I could just read without worry. So for the U.S. compendiums, I got this, um, and I actually have a spare of the Optimus, not the Optimus Prime. I guess it'd be either I don't remember Grimlock, I think, for the Autobot set, where it was just the Till-All one. So I've got an extra set of that coming as well. Um, to be just my reader set that I can read without worrying about damaging. So since this is what's arriving first, try to get out there and be one of the first ones to do an unboxing of these, which I already cut the tape. Um, I'll just go back to just with the one I have. All right, so now if you get the Autobot Decepticon sets with the larger sets, there are stretch goals. And you would either get Autobot or Decepticon, depending on which package you chose. Now, you might think with the Ironhide, I would get the Autobot. But no, the Ironhide, there was no Decepticon version of this package, right? Ironhide was for just the two US compendiums. Bumblebee was for the two UK compendiums. And then the next layers up is where you get to choose Autobot or Decepticon. So with these, you only get the neutral stretch goals. So I won't have all the Autobot tech spec cards or like the stickers and the pins. I didn't get any of those. This will be just the neutral stretch goals. But like I said, I've got all that coming in my next set. So we'll do the first cut the table. We're going to open it up and see how it comes out of the box. So we have bubble wrap on top. All right, so the first thing I'm pulling out are these envelopes. All right, so it's just an unboxing, so I'm not going to necessarily open all these right now. They're sealed, kind of like the way you would, like a mailer. All right, so here you've got the reprint bundle. These are the ones that came as part of the stretch goals. You can see there on the tag. And then this one, it's the variants, which these were add-ons. You had to buy separately. So I did buy those. So these would be the other covers that have the things like, like the number 5 without Transformers at the top. It's just the artwork. And the other 2 issues in black and white. So we get that. All right, next thing I'm pulling out here, just a note for Quartermaster Logistics. All right. And it just says, package and ship by your friends at Quartermaster Logistics. See something wrong or missing, let us know with a contact page. So if I go through and I end up, without pulling up the Kickstarter page to look at the add-ons, I'm not sure I got them all. But if I do, that's the way to contact them to get those. Now, so next, we have the coin, which is in this nice vinyl rubbery type package. Let's see if I can get this open. If I take the coin out, show how difficult this is to open without damaging the packaging. I've never seen a package like this. Does seem to be behind the lip. There we go. There's like a lip like a band across there, and this folds under it. There you go. So we're going to take this out. And you can see it's got Decepticon on one side, Autobot on the other. It's a nice hefty coin. It's got some good weight to it. I don't know what kind of metal it is. Looks like it's got some Peace Through Tyranny on the Decepticon side, till all are one around the edge on the Autobot side. I don't know if you can make that out. Till all are one. Peace Through Tyranny. Right, so there's the coin. It's nice, hefty, high quality, very nice item. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time doing this, but I can't get it back in there. I'll just set it down. I already got it, so I got that folded flat back under there. All right, the next thing I'm pulling out are the exclusive tech spec cards. Now, I know you heard me say that I wouldn't get the tech spec cards because this is only the neutral stretch goals. But these are not the Autobot or Decepticon tech spec cards. I don't know which is which because I haven't opened them. This one feels thicker. So my guess is this is the, because you remember part of the stretch goals later, it said if you subscribe to the email notifications, you would get the free Jetfire card, which is what I'm thinking this is. It doesn't say what it is. You can just kind of tell they're different because one has the gold, one has the red. That's probably how they can tell when they're packing them, make sure they pack the right ones. So I'm thinking this one, it feels thinner. So it feels only one. This is probably the Jetfire. And this one feels a little thicker, so it's probably got the tech spec cards for Bob Budiansky and Simon Furman, which is again one of those late stretch goals. And since those are neutral, everybody gets these. So, like I said, now the Autobot Decepticon packs, I'm sure I would pull out the packs of Autobot tech spec cards. And Decepticon, they'd be even thicker because they have more cards in them. Now, next thing out is the double-sided bookmark. Got Starscream on one side, Bumblebee on the other. All right. And after that, I'm pulling out. All right, these are the art prints. That were part of the stretch goals. Here's the Starscream. I think he's one of the ones that was voted on. People voted on this one. So I know they had the vote. Let's see if this will open. It's not permanently sealed. It's it's almost like a comic thing with the resealable. I can open this up and pull these out. I wish the tech spec cards were like that, so we could open them up and then put them back in. If they're like a pack of cards, you got to pair those open. Unfortunately, if you take those out, you're not putting them back. Here you have, there's the Starscream out of plastic. You can see it with less glare. All right, then there's the sound wave. And I think that's it. So it's just a piece of cardboard here. So yeah, so it's just the two, Starscream and sound wave. I'll put those back in when I'm not recording. All right, next thing we're pulling out is the Grimlock lenticular. Much like the cards, it's in plastic that's not reclosable. At least it's clear, you can see it, unlike the one for the tech spec cards, but you can see the lenticular. But once you open this, take it out, it's permanently open. And then, of course, this is the other lenticular, which was the Jazz. Okay, so again, I don't know if this is everything, but that's all the stretch goals in my box. I don't know if they left any out or not. They gave me a note to contact them. If they did, I will go to the page. This was the unboxing. I'd already opened the box, but I hadn't removed anything yet, so I didn't. That's why I didn't check it beforehand, make sure I have everything. But I will go to the Kickstarter page to look at the stretch goals and make sure I have everything minus, the Autobot and Decepticon specific stuff. Which, like I said, I know there was a pin and a patch. I think didn't get either one of those because they're all neutral. Right, so first thing we're going to pull out here is Compendium number 1, which is a nice purple Decepticon color. You can see it's got the blue shiny edges on the pages. All right, so the other thing in the box here, unless there's something under these, this should be the last thing. We have Compendium 2, which is a nice Autobot red. So if you get the $2 one, you chose either Autobot or Decepticon, these are what your colors are going to be. Now, I will take these out of the plastic here. Move this box out of the way because it is now empty. So I will go ahead and take these out of the plastic so you can see them without the shine from the clear plastic and the glare of the light. Hopefully this won't take me very long. Did I say that? And it would be stubborn. Let's get a finger started. There we go. So satisfying peeling this plastic off. Not as satisfying as pulling the plastic off the screen as your new phone, but pretty close. And so there's the red one open. I'll let you look at that while I turn from the purple. I keep on calling all about Decepticon, but there's not really faction specific. This is the US volumes, which if you already have the paperbacks of this that have been out stored for a while, then you know what's on the inside. I actually have those. I could have brought them here for a comparison. I guess I can edit the video. I could go get them and just come edit out the dead space while I run to get them. All right, so here's Compendium 1. It's the purple, which I guess if you read left to right, just go over there. Compendium 2 in red. Here's with the shiny gloss. I know some people were talking about looking at the images. They thought this was going to be terrible looking with the clash of the bright colors, with how shiny that was compared to the covers of the books. But those were, you know, CGI or whatever method they used. Where this is like in hand. You see, it's not overbearing and terrible looking. At least not to me, to my eye. I think it looks good. And yeah, the leather is really nice because you see this one's got nice artwork of Optimus Prime and an Autobot symbol. He's on Compendium 2. I'm not sure why they put the Autobots on Compendium 2. I felt like the Decepticons should have been Compendium 2 Autobots first. Just because they're the good guys. And then see, you've got on the back, it's got the imprinted Autobot symbol. On the spine, you have Image Comics at the top of their logo, Transformers, Compendium 2, and they've got the foil in the Transformers logo and on Compendium 2. Much just like on the front of the book does, which this was one of the stretch goals. Because I guess initially they would have done these without, you know, if they hadn't sold very many, if they'd got the goal but hadn't met the stretch goals, these would not, this would just be solid red, and these would just be the edges of paper. Now you can see the Decepticon looks the same way. The purple, you have some artwork of Megatron, the Decepticon symbol. Same thing on the spine, it's just purple. And it says Compendium 1. And on the back, you have the Decepticon symbol, which honestly seems to be catching a lot better than the Autobot symbol did. It actually looks a different color in the back of the book, the way that's shining there in the light. See if the Autobot, let's see if this one will do the same way in the right light. No, it looks kind of glossy too. Maybe I just didn't have it in the light properly. Yeah, it does it too. So you get that nice shine if you get the light reflecting off of it just right. So that's Compendium 1, Compendium 2. All right, so what do these books look like on the inside? Well, hold on. Before we're done with the covers, I got one more thing to show you. So Compendium 1 is the Decepticon cover, right? Yet on the paperbacks, Compendium 1 was the Autobot cover. And then Compendium 2 is the Autobot cover. And the paperback, Compendium 2, had a Decepticon cover. Now, I know there were cover variants. You can get like issue 1 cover and an issue whatever cover. That was what they put on this one, that like actual Marvel covers reprinted. But these are the ones that were like the mass release. You know, those others were all exclusive, either some store, or some online store, or some other means. But I went and grabbed these. I want you to see the comparison. All right, so this is like on newsprint paper. We'll do Compendium 2 since that's the one I've got in my hand here. So this is the one available in stores with the newspaper print. This is the Compendium. As you can see, there's a difference in thickness. They're quite sizable. Let's turn around and you see the covers. Maybe it'll be a little easier to see the spines. As you can see, these are not as thick as these, which is fascinating to me because this is supposed to be better paper. And you've got the big leather bound, which, you know, look at the thickness of this compared to this. So that's, I'm surprised that this book is so much thinner. It's supposed to be the exact same material. So I'll be curious to find out why. So we'll open it up. And we'll take a look at the pages inside. This, I was open to a random page here. It actually does not feel like newspaper print. It does feel like a better page, better paper. But to compare it, let's lay this one down here. So just again, open to a random page. Trying to feel the thickness of that. Definitely a different grade of paper. Let's just open this to a random page, which isn't too far off. I think it may even be in the same issue. So this page, while it's a better quality paper, I can tell by the feel this is much smoother and glossier. I don't know how much you can tell that on the screen there. I wish I had some micrometers with me. I don't know if this page is thinner. Um, if it, I mean, it might be a little thinner, but this definitely feels like a better quality page because this definitely feels more like newspaper print. This feels like it will hold up, but it won't yellow. Like this will yellow like the original comics did over time, unless you put it in the back. You can't bag and board. This is too thick. But the original comics, they're not bag and boarded over time. Newspaper print just yellows. It just does. It's a product of it's just the nature of the product. And so this, I don't know, it feels really good. Like I don't know, it's smoother, but it doesn't really feel a lot thicker, which makes sense. But I don't understand why the book is thinner than this book. The paper doesn't feel any thinner. It feels about the same, just a better quality paper. Um, so I'm not sure what's up with that. And let's see what the last page of this book is. I just kind of compare. Okay, look what I just found. More stretch goal stuff. These were the book plates. If you got the signed ones, these would be signed. At one point in the stretch goals, they said that every order would come with an unsigned book plate. So I guess if you ever meet Furman and Budiansky, you can get them to sign this and then put it in, and you'll have a signed book plate. And here's posters. Which now that I'm looking at this, I do remember these posters as part of the stretch goal. Okay, we'll come back. We'll check the back of this one, see if it's got something. We'll see what the last page of this book is, see if they end on the same issue. So here's a page. I don't know which issue it is. I haven't read these Marvel comics in a long time. But there's the page. You have Optimus standing at the Autobots at the top with a bunch of dead robots. Looks like Decepticons laying around, maybe some other Autobots too. And then you have the three panels at the bottom where Optimus zooming in on his face. All right, so let's take this compendium. Let's open it up to the end. And this is, yeah, okay, so they're not exactly the same because this ends with a page here that says Savage Seacons at the bottom. I don't know if that's a plug for the next issue or if that was what this issue was about. It says next, Vacation at Club Con, the tropical paradise that offers sun, sand, surf, and the Savage Seacons. So that's a different issue. That's a different last page. So that could be why the book is thicker. But what I don't understand about that is this is supposed to be all 80 issues in these two paperbacks. It's supposed to be all 80 issues plus the G2 movie adaptation. That's what this is supposed to be as well. This is also supposed to be all that. And I don't think it's as many issues because it ends. Like I don't know what issue the Seacons. The Seacon. I think it's the Seacon issues. I think it's 47. Yeah, I think the Seacon issue is 47. Let's scroll to the end. Unfortunately, there's no table of contents in here with issues number listed. That would make it so much easier because the table of contents would tell us what issues are in here. But that may have not been last issue because that's just showing conditional armor because there's cover number 2 issue. Okay, so there we go. That was just some extra pages in there with some extra artwork because this is the actual last page of the book and it's the same. So here I was thinking that the book was different, didn't have all the same content, that had a different breaking point, and I'm like, well, how did they get all the? If there's only two volumes of each, where would those other issues have gone? Yeah, because the other one's not thicker either. But it turns out there's just some extra pages here. I'm not sure what page that is from. I think it's number 4. So the Transformers number 4 original miniseries ending. Okay, okay. So I do know what that is. For those who don't know, the original miniseries was supposed to be just that. It was supposed to be a 4 comic miniseries to promote the new toys. They didn't expect it to be the smash hit that it was, which is why issue number 80 says issue 80 in a 4-part limited series, because this one was supposed to be 4. Now that I'm looking at that, I know what that is. And I don't think that was in these books. So if you read number 4 the way it originally was, which is probably how it is in this book, in the early part, at the beginning of the book, you have the final battle of Decepticons, all about to win, and all of a sudden Shockwave shows up and like obliterates everybody. That's why issue 5 starts out with the Transformers are all dead, because Shockwave killed everybody. Um, but the word was that they were doing the 4-part miniseries, and it was doing so well that they decided to extend it. So they had to change the ending of issue 4 because it's supposed to be your nice, tied up, tidy, this is the end of the book. But then they decided to extend it uh, because they wanted to go into issue 5. So that's when they changed the ending to have Shockwave show up and kill everybody. So then you can go into issue 5 where they would find out Ratchet actually is still surviving. They're not all dead. Buster has, finds Optimus Prime's head, gets the Matrix, and then the story goes on from there. Um, but I'd always heard that they changed that ending because just going to extend. What I didn't know is that the original ending existed. Anything beyond a script. Like apparently it was drawn and colored. That's what's in the back of that book. So I find that really fascinating. I can't wait to take a look at that to see the last page is different. They changed that last page and they still have the original. And this may be the first time as a fan since 1984. Didn't read the comics first go around when I was a kid. I only read some of the later issues. First time I discovered them in the store. I certainly didn't read the first 4. To me, it was just the cartoon and the toys. So I'm excited to read that last, read that different ending. So that's what's in here. So Compendium 1 has some extra pages with the alternate ending. The original ending for the 4-part miniseries had it not been extended into an 80-issue run. So that's news to me. I didn't. If you already knew that, let me know in the comments. But I didn't know that. But now I do. So here it is. We've unboxed. Oh yeah, I wanted to check. Sure enough, I want to check the back of this one. They like to tuck things. So when you get your books, some of your stretch goal stuff is tucked back here. Because we have, once again, we have another unsigned book plate. You can see at the bottom, it's got places for Simon Furman and Bob Budiansky to sign it if they so choose, if you ever meet them. And then this is the Autobot poster with the Optimus Prime. So, yeah, these are folded up and they're in the backs of the books. I did not expect that. So that's why I didn't catch them when we first did the um, stretch goal inventory. And I may have to contact them about my books. I don't know if you noticed this while I was looking through it. This one's fine. Again, this is my reader set. Maybe I won't carry. We'll see how my main set comes in. But as you can see, if you get the angle right, there's a blue mark right there. It only really shows up when you kind of turn the pages. When you close it, it kind of blends in with the blue, with that blue gradient. But it almost looks like somebody scribbled on it with a marker. Like somebody just went across it with a marker and you just couldn't see it. But this thing was shrink wrapped. I don't think Quartermaster Logistics did this. I would think this had been something from the factory because it's completely unnoticeable like that. But then there it is. So somebody tag Skybound in this to find out, is this supposed to be this way? Are they all going to be marked like that? Compendium 2 doesn't appear to be that way. Yeah, there's one little spot down here. It only shows up because it's in blue ink. It only shows up when you kind of tilt the pages so you can see some of the white. And then it goes away. I mean, for a reader set, it's not going to be that annoying, but holding it up under the light directly, I can kind of see that it does look like a marker mark. I don't know how well it shows up. It's right there. Like I said, you don't really see it till you, even to turn the book, you don't see it. You have to kind of actually turn the pages, tilt the pages, and then it's visible. See right there. I don't know if you can still see that or not. I can. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. I think it's a little more noticeable on this one. There's that big mark. Yeah, let's see, the mark is right there. So you can still kind of see it. It's not as picking up on the camera very well. But anyway, so as far as quality goes, That's the only issue I see with them. Without looking at every page for any kind of misprints or smeared ink or anything. Uh, it's a very high quality book. As someone who likes books, it's a very high. I mean, it feels good in hand, nice heft. It just feels very high quality. Other than those marks that you can't even see when the book's closed. Other than that, I think this is a great set. I can't wait till I get my Unicron set in, so I can see the Till All Are One sets up close and in person. And I can't wait to read these now, especially now that I know there's additional content in there. I've read these. I didn't read them as a kid. I read the 80 issues and the UK stuff online scans like 2001, so 24 years ago. Um, and it was like I was on dial up, so it'd take forever for each page to load. So honestly, it wasn't the best reading experience because you have to go wait 10 minutes for the page to load, then come in and read one page, click next, wait 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. So by the time I got to the end of the book, I kind of forgot what was in the beginning of the book. It took so long. It would take hours to read one issue. It was crazy. So this will be a better reading experience, and so I'm looking forward to it. Especially like I said with the new material on the back I've never read before. I don't know what additional new material might surprise me in these, but it's not even in the paperback compendiums. Because I turned to the back page there, and it was just the last issue, right? There were 3 or 4 pages after that in these, which the hooker had some artwork, and then that last page of issue 4. So yeah, so if you feel froggy and you have an opportunity, maybe pick up a set of these. Even if you've got the paperback versions, these are just sturdier. This is a nice collectible book to put on the shelf. All right, well that's Insane Galvatron, and you guys have a wonderful day.